you hear me? Can you hear me?
Stand by.
Can't you hear me?
Here at Tobacco Road Sports Radio, we ask the tough questions.
Hey, you got any left-handed footballs?
We're never afraid to tell you how we feel.
Man, can you hear me?
Debate
Can you hear me
sport.
at all?
We'll debate anything.
And you lying. You ain't never
Can you
met
hear
Yeah, we got you.
Gang. Not the winner. But yes, it did. No, it didn't. Yes, it
Can you
did.
hear me?
No, it didn't.
Can you hear me?
No matter what, Tobacco Road Sports Radio.
I'm gonna come right back at it. The soldiers.
You're listening to Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Sedgefield Lawn and Landscape Supply is your one-stop shop for your lawn. Family-owned, serving customers residential or commercial. Check out our large selection of mulch, pine needles, sand, gravel, grass seed, fertilizer, herbicides. They even do propane fill-ups. And if you're looking for lawn care equipment, you won't find a better spot
hear
to
me?
try it than Sedgefield Outdoor Equipment. Visit them today, 5111
Hello.
Mackey Road in Jamestown, North Carolina. Give them a call at 336-292-6800 and follow them on Facebook and Twitter. Blue Naples Pizzeria in Kernersville is now hiring. Come work for one of the best Italian restaurants in the Triad. Currently hiring dishwashers, cooks, front cashiers, and more. Great hours, great pay. Give them a call at 336-993-7707 or stop by and inquire at 1519 Union Cross Road in Kernersville. Start working this week. Blue Naples Pizza.
Hey family, this is Sabrina Wingo from Taste of the Triad, right here in Winston-Salem. When you walk through our doors, you're stepping into a place where Southern hospitality meets the best soul food in the Triad. We serve up a wide variety of options every single day in our cafeteria-style setting, from crispy fried chicken, incredible ribs, tender collard greens, to creamy mac and cheese, fresh vegetables, homemade desserts, and sweet cornbread just like Grandma used to make. Whether you're craving classic comfort food or exploring our daily specials, there is always something to make your taste buds dance. And now you can enjoy the taste of the Triad from the comfort of your home. We're on DoorDash. This means our hot home-style meals are just a few taps away. So come see us in person or order online and find out why we're called the best soul food in the Triad. Taste of the Triad, where you can have Sunday dinner anytime. Our address is 4320 Old Walkertown Road in Winston-Salem.
This is Grant Williams, and you're listening to The Desmond Johnson Show on Tobacco Road Sports Radio, your Triad home for sports.
For the best high school football games in the Triad every Friday.
Can't touch this.
Live sports talk on everything from ACC to Bowman Gray.
Can't touch this.
The most extensive Carolina Panthers coverage in the Triad.
Can't touch this.
Plus your exclusive home for Charlotte Hornets in the Triad.
Break it down.
Add in your Triad home for North Carolina A&T Athletics, and you've got Tobacco Road Sports Radio, your home for Triad sports.
101 down the sideline. One. Caught the ball. Hit ball. He's in. Touchdown, Aggies.
Welcome into a brand new edition of the Desmond Johnson Show here on Tobacco Road Sports Radio, TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com. Desmond Johnson in the house, Sports Carolina Monthly and Tobacco Road Sports Radio correspondent Ryan Smith in the house, and Hot Rod Funderburg in the house. Loaded show. We're going to get you ready for college football today. We'll get you ready for NFL football tomorrow, and we'll talk about Rod's Dallas Cowboys, what happened on Thursday night. Is he feeling good? Is he feeling bad? We'll kind of figure out what's going on with the Cowboys. And, of course, the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles. We'll review Kansas City Chargers from last night as well, and much, much more. And we'll get you ready for all the stuff for today and tomorrow. Football is back, and you're live from the Desmond Johnson Show. Let's get it.
Live with Desmond Johnson, son, the live is one. Represent NC to the fullest.
Yeah, welcome to the Carolinas. Everywhere you go, the sky is Carolina blue, the finest. Live action, feedback, the city needs that. I've been number one, no cap. Here's the recap. Adrenaline is my addiction. I'm about to relapse. Step on the turf if you want and get your weed whacked. I'm going harder than a martyr on the starter end. It's the heart of man, that's a rap like a cardigan. I'm breaking records, it's 4th and inches, I count the seconds. The over-under's my roar of thunder, my secret weapon. Yeah, the game is to be told. I don't break, I break modes. Follow me on Tobacco Road.
one. Represent NC to the fullest.
And welcome to a Saturday edition of the Desmond Johnson Show here on Tobacco Road Sports Radio, tobaccoroadsportsradio.com. You can also hear us live in Greensboro and Guilford County every Saturday morning on WWBG 1470 AM. We are your home for Triad Sports. Brought to you by Nikki Rottweiler, Head Realty Group, EXP. Desmond Johnson here with Ryan Smith. Hot Rod Funderburk in the house. We may have a former NFL tight end Ben Troop in a little bit later on. We'll check and see if we can find where Ben is. Guys, got a loaded show for today. Me and Rod are just coming back from maybe not so much of a surprise from last night. Clash of two big brands in high school football here in the Triad. Grimsley, number one ranked in the state, nationally ranked in the country, dismantling East Forsyth. What was the final score? Was it 48-21? Was that what the final score was? Yeah, so 48. Yeah, and it honestly could have been much worse than that. With some of the stuff that happened throughout the course of that game. Shout out to head coach Daryl Brown and the Grimsley Whirlies, who have really impressed me last night with what we watched and how they just kind of methodically took apart East Forsyth on the football field. So shout out to Grimsley. They're on a bye going forward this week. So no, this is Whirly Nation Monday night from downtown Greensboro. Guys, I want to get into college football first. So everybody kind of set up. Before we get into the games for today, I asked Rod last night if he could come on because there was a couple things I wanted to hit him with in terms of Carolina and the Dallas Cowboys, who Dallas played on Thursday night. First, let's get to Carolina from last week. What? What was that? Rod, your thoughts on this as a Carolina fan? Are you worried about Bill Belichick and his era at Carolina after what you saw on Monday on Labor Day against TCU?
Yes, I am very worried. There's no question about it, my man. Des, we're talking about Bill Belichick here, who, when Tom Brady left him, had 4 bad years over in New England. Des, we're talking about a Bill Belichick who has a history of making sure that his guys know the fundamentals and the details of football, even if they aren't the best talented. Stupid, dumb, mental mistakes. And that's exactly what we saw on Monday night against the TCU Horned Frogs. They made the worst mental mistakes anyone could ever think about seeing, man. So Bill Belichick, to me, is not Bill Belichick anymore. I don't know who he is. I don't know what that coach is. You could even see him on the sideline one time saying, "What in the world are we doing?" And I don't think he said it that nicely. So Bill Belichick, I'm not sure. He brought in 70 new players. These are players that he picked out to bring in for this year. And the showing that they had on Monday was horrific. And I think Bill Belichick, either the game is starting to pass him by, if it has not passed him by or already, or Tom Brady really covered up some things concerning Bill Belichick and his coaching style.
Yeah, I thought about it too, because it wasn't like he left on a high note from New England. Like he had a couple, once Brady left, there was a couple years where they didn't make the playoffs and he wasn't very good. Ryan, your thoughts on Carolina situation here, where I've seen the $1 million buyout that was the big talk during the spring or whatever, that Bill was going to use this to get back to the NFL and all that stuff. I've seen the tone of that change from it being Bill using it to UNC using it to get out of Belichick's contract after one game. Are we overreacting here from what we saw on Labor Day?
No, we're not. No, we are not. First off, let me I know we're going to talk about it in a second. I am a UNC Charlotte grad, so I'm sorry for you UNC fans today going down. Looking forward to the Niners dispatching the Tar Heels today, but we won't talk about that. I don't think that's going to happen, much full disclosure.
I think it could.
It might. Hey, we don't know.
They got smacked in the mouth. TCU brought their game. This was Colorado 2 years ago, essentially the same, or last year, it's essentially the same thing. They didn't know what they were going to get versus Dion, didn't know what they were going to get versus Belichick. TCU wasn't quite ready for the game last year. This year, they said, enough with the hype with Belichick. We're going to come in and we're going to play our game and we're going to smack them in the mouth. And that's exactly what they did. Talking to a few people, I found this quote interesting. Belichick thinks he's going to come in here and tell a bunch of college lifers how he's going to run college football. No, I think college football is going to teach him a thing or two. It's a little different than the NFL. The players are different. The schemes are different. The formations are different. Yes, it's still football, but there are differences from the NFL. And I think Bill is learning that the hard way, especially when you said, Hot Rod, the 70 new players, some of which Bill brought in as well. It's not going to be as easy as Bill thinks.
I mean, I think it's the most turnover for a D1 roster out of all the D1 teams in terms of the roster. 70+ players coming in, and some of them didn't come in until after spring. Like Gio Lopez didn't get there until after spring, and then these guys didn't even start practicing until July 31st. So they literally only had like a month together. And if you remember Belichick at New England, the Patriots typically kind of started off slow. They kind of treated September as preseason usually. Remember, they'd start off 1-3 or 2-2 or whatever, and they'd kind of play with lineups and kind of play vanilla a little bit, and then they would kind of get rolling once it got to fall in October or whatever, and rattle off 8 wins or whatever and win the AFC East. It almost sounded like he was treating the game as preseason, even though it was TCU, and nobody talks about TCU's end of this. Like TCU, I forgot who said it with me earlier this week. Nobody likes to be somebody's homecoming game, and that's kind of how I felt like TCU was getting treated in this matchup. Nobody's talking about TCU at all. It was all about Belichick, Carolina, Michael Jordan, me and Ham in the stands.
Lawrence Taylor,
fireworks
Randy
going off.
Moss.
Randy Moss, college game days there, like all this stuff, and then literally
TCU won 9 games last year. Des TCU won 9 games last year.
They were in the national championship like 3 years ago. I think it was against Georgia. So I mean, it's a good
63-7 in the national championship game against Georgia. Yeah,
it's a good program. So like for them to come in there and be like, we're gonna rain on your sunshine here, like this debut or whatnot. I think that a lot of people, I was very tentative. David Glenn is my co-host every other week on Tuesdays. And of course he, created the ACC Sports Journal and things of that sort. And he's been down on Carolina ever since Belichick got there. He was just looking at the roster and what they brought in. Can you name 2 or 3 guys that stand out? They're like special players, or did he just go out and get a lot of depth? Did he just go out and get like a lot of guys? And that's what it feels like. He's got 70 guys. And if they can figure out how to play together, they'll win some games. But to think they're going to win 9-10 games or something crazy like that and challenge Clemson and all this other stuff, they don't have dudes. Like, they don't have dudes to be able to do this with. And I think TCU kind of exposed that.
Yeah, they definitely did, Des, man. I tell you what, I don't know who evaluates talent. Gio Lopez. Who said he was a $4 million guy? Did y'all see a $4 million quarterback? Oh, I saw a $4 million quarterback down in Miami. I saw a $4 million quarterback on the other side where they were playing TCU, but not Lopez. I mean, who's evaluating this talent that Bill Belichick has brought into Carolina? Because they need to go back and check themselves. And I tell you what, Freddie Kitchens is still the offensive coordinator. And I don't know, under Mac Brown, Mac Brown, he might would lose the game. And he'd lose the game and let the other team score 60, but Mac Brown's going to score you 58. Mac Brown might lose and he scores, the other team scores 45, but Mac Brown's going to score 40. He's going to make you think you've got a chance, and Mac Brown's going to keep the stands full through halftime. People were leaving that game at halftime, guys.
Yeah.
I know, because I gave 2 tickets away because I couldn't get there because I was out of town. And the folks I gave tickets away to called me at halftime and said, "Hey, man, I'm coming back home. Sorry to waste your ticket."
Oh my gosh. And it was crazy. I think somebody, I forgot who it was. It might have been somebody I had earlier. It was Dimitri Ravanos maybe that said that it would have been perfect if the game ended right after Carolina scored that opening touchdown, like a Disney movie. Like if it just ended right there.
You would have thought they were gonna win the national championship.
Yeah,
it was just
fireworks and everything. Yeah. And then they drive immediately down the field, almost perfect drive, score a touchdown, crowd goes nuts. And then they just couldn't, nothing after that point. I think Gio Lopez went like a full hour and some change in real time of not completing a pass or something to that effect. Like, it just looked like a disaster. Now, having said all that, they're on a short week, and today they will travel to take on Ryan Smith's UNC of North Carolina, Charlotte, down in Charlotte. That is a 7:00 kickoff on ESPN Plus at Jerry Richardson Stadium. The Hills are favored. The line's gone down now. It was up in the 20s earlier. The line is now 13.5 after that game. Do you think the Carolina, now granted, TCU is not Charlotte, and Charlotte's not TCU. TCU is a top 25 program. Are you worried about Carolina today going into Charlotte? Like, what will be the warning signs? Like, if you start watching this game tonight, like if early in the first quarter you start seeing some things, what's some things that are going to bother you? Like, oh, this might be a season-long thing.
I'll let Ron go first.
Yeah.
Well, in this game, I'm going to be looking at body language to begin with both teams. Even with the game last night, Des, that we called, you could tell the body language from Grimsley, who dominated East Forsyth from the very beginning of the game. Their body language was completely different. The way they lined up, the way they moved around on defense and offense, there was a confidence level there. If the 49ers come out with that same confidence level because they just saw TCU kick the mess out of Carolina, so now they know that Bill Belichick is no one to be feared, and they come out and their body language is telling me that they're confident and they're really to pull out a can of whip butt on Carolina, I'm going to be nervous before the first snap of the ball, to be honest with you. And then if Carolina comes out and makes any mental mistakes, has in pre-snap mistakes, false starts, illegal motion, not lining up correctly. If they do the small detailed stuff like that, then that tells me Bill Belichick has still not instilled the fundamentals of football in this team, and they're not ready to play, more or less ready to win. And I will believe that the 49ers will kick their butt tonight. And I would not bet on the Tar Heels at all right now.
Jeez, I'm a Carolina fan, and I know Rod's diehard. He went to school there, and I'm kind of the same way. Because the whole Belichick thing in Carolina it's weird to me. It's almost like if Coach K decided to coach the Charlotte Hornets. For me, I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? This is a man that I've hatefully respected for going on 40 years, and now he's coaching one of the teams that I either cover or I love, and now he's coaching it. I have that same feeling with Belichick. I didn't think that I knew Belichick coming in would be a big media thing, but I'm not a big fan of how Belichick plays football per se. In terms of what they do, I understand it works. Everybody do your job, all that kind of stuff. Yes, I agree with. But this kind of the post Brady Belichick that we've seen, I think really has exposed the fact that maybe Tom Brady, to Rod's point, Tom Brady had a lot more to do with the success of New England than what we've given him credit. It's always been 50-50, I think, for everyone. Yeah, Tom did this, but Bill was there. He wouldn't have done it without Bill and vice versa or whatnot. Well, Bill Belichick didn't win 6 Super Bowls without Tom Brady. It goes both ways. Ryan, your thoughts on this before we move over to some of the other ACC games today?
Yeah, so a couple thoughts. Connor Harrell, former UNC quarterback, is obviously the Charlotte's quarterback. Depending on who you ask, some UNC fans are not worried about him at all because apparently he can't throw past 20 yards of the line of scrimmage. But I can't speak on that, but that's just what I've heard from some of my UNC fans. I'll give you a name to watch. UNC Charlotte's probably only player that can make a true impact in this game. Henry Rutledge. That would be the punt returner and one of our wide receivers. He is dynamic with the ball in his hands. Belichick specifically called him out in the press conference and said he might be the best return man they're facing all year.
So we might get some kind of kickoff return or something like that. To Rod's point, the way they were playing football, it just didn't look good. It just wasn't good football after that first drive where they were just doing basic stuff wrong, like tackling and things of that sort. So Carolina taking on Charlotte today at 7 p.m. We'll see if we get Rod back here. I think his feet just dropped. Some of the other games here. One of the games I wanted to talk about with you, Ryan, is an interesting matchup. Number 11, Illinois, traveling to Durham to take on Duke. That's a 12 o'clock kickoff. That'll be happening as soon as we get off the air here, and that is on ESPN at Wallace Wade Stadium. If Duke actually beats Illinois, and I actually feel like Duke has a chance to beat Illinois in this game based off of what we've seen. Yeah. If Duke beats Illinois, where do you put them in the top 25? Because at that point, now they're not ranked, but you got to put Duke in the top 25 if they beat a top 11 team, right?
For sure. I think not only do they have a chance, I think they. No, I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to win, but I think they have a chance for sure. I'd put them in the 20 range, 18-20 range, if they were to pull off this upset today. Illinois, Brett Bielema, former Wisconsin and Arkansas coach, now at Illinois, they have a well-coached team, so it's not going to be easy for the Blue Devils. They have the home field advantage there, which is obviously going to help them. But I was impressed with Duke last week, Illinois as well. And so, Illinois played a cupcake, but that's okay. Illinois, Duke should be a good game today. I'm excited for Manny Diaz. He really has that defense swarming, and then Duke's offense with Darian Mensah is fun to watch. And I think Illinois has the toys ready to go. It's going to be a tough matchup for Duke. I think they are capable of pulling this off, but it's going to be tough. I do think I would put them around 18-20 if they were to pull off this upset.
And shout out to our guy, Rod, Quayshawn Brown, who had a punt return for a touchdown last week. Yeah. And I remember sitting in the booth with you maybe 3 or 4 years ago while we were watching Q and company at East. And I remember saying, I feel like that kid's going to play on Sundays. I think I've only said that maybe to 3 players that we've watched over the past 7 or 8 years, where you kind of just look and you're like, He's that kid. I think I made this point last week. He's that kid where when you were in like third grade, fourth grade, there was like a kid that everybody knew was the fastest kid, like in the grade or whatever. And then you get to like 9th, 10th grade, he's still the fastest kid, like in the grade. Like everybody know that's him. That was him. That was Q. Like Q just has like a special something to him. And I love his personality, love his family. Shout out to Nikki and everybody over there, B-Dot, everybody that is associated with him. And I'm just happy for Q that he's finally getting a chance and he stayed. That's what I like, that he didn't go in the portal and look for an opportunity someplace else. He stayed at Duke and waited for his turn and has gotten to be a much better player. He's a junior now, I believe, now over there. So look out for Quayshawn Brown, number 7 wide receiver for Duke today against Illinois. That's at noon on ESPN. So they're on the big boy ESPN today. Other games today in the ACC include Virginia at NC State. That's a 12 o'clock kickoff on ESPN2. Any quick words on that, Ryan? I know you've got previews for Virginia at NC State and Carolina at Charlotte that are both up now at sportscarolinamonthly.com that people can go and check out. Real quick thoughts on Virginia at NC State?
Well, first off, I think it's weird that it's a non-conference game. I still think it's bizarre with the expansion and everything. Today's game is officially going to be a non-conference game for whatever that's worth. But Chandler Morris,
ask about that because I was like, they're playing really early for it to be a conference game. Yeah, I
still don't understand that, and I'm not going to display the knowledge to do that here. But Chandler Morris, 264 yards passing, 2 touchdowns last week in their win last week. He had poise, efficiency, control of the offense there for Virginia. I think he's going to be a tough test for this Wolfpack defense. On the other side, though, I like CJ Bailey. I like him a lot. I think he is one of the best quarterbacks NC State's had in a long time. He's a dual threat quarterback, a nightmare to defend in open space. I do think Virginia's defense is going to be I think they're going to be up to the task. I think this is going to be a very close game. I think I predicted, I want to say 27-24, if I'm not mistaken, NC State with the win. So I think it's going to be a very closely tighted game. Either team can win this game.
And then real quick with UROD, number 8 Clemson taking on Troy, 3:30 p.m. I don't think anybody's worried about – that's at Clemson. That's their home opener. I don't think anybody's really worried about Clemson after losing to LSU last week. But do you think – either Florida State or Miami can challenge Clemson in the ACC after what you saw last week?
Oh, I definitely think Florida State and Miami both can challenge Clemson, to be honest with you. Devil's way you have to commend him on the way that he's going about building his team and his program. He doesn't like using the portal. He doesn't, like how college football is turned in the direction that he's going to have to adjust to the I think last week.
Rob, I think we're having a problem with your mic. Like something's going on with your microphone. Okay. Can you hear him, Ron? Or
it was going in and out.
Oh yeah, okay. So something's going on with your microphone. It was going in and out. I don't know if you might have to try to refresh it again. Yeah. So that's today at 3:30 p.m. on ACC Network. 5th ranked Miami moved up to number 5 after that win last week against Notre Dame. They are hosting Bethune-Cookman. And
I was really impressed with Miami. I'll say. I know it was against Notre Dame. Big lights there with CJ Carr. Also very impressed with him as a freshman, Lloyd Carr's grandson. But very impressed with Carson Beck in Miami. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the ACC. Clemson, I'm not worried about them at all. LSU is a really good team. Battle of 2 really good quarterbacks. Someone had to lose that game. It was obviously Clemson. Des, I just wanted to say one quick thing as we're waiting on Rod to get back. You can apply this to Cade Klubnik. You can apply this to Arch Manning, who we didn't talk about, obviously, with Texas and Ohio State. But please answer me this question. If you are playing a top 10 or top 5 team with a really good defense, like Ohio State had against Arch or against LSU, Clemson had, the quarterback is not supposed to be that good. There's a reason you're a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
I know it's week 1, and I know neither quarterback was as good as they wanted to be, but they're not going to look that good. They're a top 5 defense for a reason. Defense plays football too. So I think we need to stop with this narrative like, oh, Arch and Cade Klubnik were terrible in week 1. Well, yeah, they're going to make us a top 5 defense. I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I agree. Because I kind of fell into that narrative right after where the internet just piled on to Arch Manning in terms of like, well, he played at a 2A school in high school and he played cupcakes last year. He didn't play anybody. He's overrated, last name, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, they played Ohio State on the road, like week 1. Like they're the defending national champions. Like your season ended to them last year. Like, I mean, like why all of a sudden everyone's just like, oh, he must suck because Ohio State, because he couldn't beat Ohio State on the road in front of 110,000 people or whatever. Like it's weird to me. Let me see. I think we got Rod back here. Rod, real quick before we get out of college football, and I'll take a quick commercial break for WWBG. Your thoughts on was it an overreaction of Arch Manning's performance last week, Texas versus Ohio State. And Texas this week, I can't remember who it is. They have a cupcake this week. Most of these schools that played these big games last week are playing cupcakes this week. I think there's only one like top 25 matchup, actually. Your thoughts on his performance in terms of was he overrated in terms of his name and everything else, or was it more Ohio State being Ohio State?
Yeah, Des. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. I think I'm still having some technical difficulties with this mic.
Yeah, it's still doing the garble thing. Like, actually, you might be able, if you have it on a microphone, you might be able to just take the microphone out and just use your laptop computer mic. And that'll probably fix it right there. Is it like on a USB or something?
No, I'm not even in the mic at all. I don't have a mic on at all.
Yeah, it sounds like you got the thing going on there with the voice thing. I'm not sure why it's making this call.
This morning.
Yeah, I think something's going on with his voice thing there. I don't know if it's the room or the device you're on. Are you on a phone?
Yeah, I'm on my
oh, they're good. Well, he started coming back in.
Start coming back in yet?
Yeah, you're starting to come back in now.
Okay, yeah. Well, Arch Manning.
Go ahead.
Say that again, Des.
No, go ahead.
With Arch Manning, I don't think he's necessarily overrated. I mean, he is getting paid over $6 million, however. But I think there was just a lot of pressure to be playing the defending national champions at the first game of the season, not really knowing, the defense they're going to run, not knowing how they plan to scheme you up. I think Arch Manning is a great player. He's coming from a known name. And just because he's a Manning, everyone has a target on him. That is my feelings concerning Arch Manning. But I think he's a gamer. I think he knows how to play this game. I think he's going to go back, study film. He's going to work hard. He's going to work on some of the mistakes that he made. He's going to work on knowing how to throw guys open, because that interception that he had, I think it was just a late thrown ball. There was double coverage there. The safety rotated over, came down, and was able to get that pick, man. But I think Arch Manning is going to be a great player. I still think he's going to be in the Heisman race. And this first game with him playing a team and a defense like Ohio State, but not only that, but the defensive coordinator of Ohio State. We know, he was one of the guys who also helped old Bill Belichick out. Tell me his name, because I'm drawing a blank. I'm 50 years old this week, guys, so I'm drawing a blank.
Who's the happy birthday weekend, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you, man. The defensive coordinator has been with New England forever. I can't think of his name.
Matt Patricia. Yeah.
That's him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's Ohio State DC. Yeah.
I mean, listen, you don't get much better competition than that Manning had to go against. So I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to give Manning a pass on that one, because he still had Texas looking like they had an opportunity to win the ball game. They just fell short, man. So, hey, Arch Manning, not overrated. I'm looking for him to be there at the end of the season, one of the guys in the Heisman Trophy race.
Yeah, I think he'll be just fine. And again, Texas, it gets a little bit easier today. They're taking on San Jose State. It's a noon kickoff on ABC. Some other games of note: second-ranked Penn State taking on, looks like FIU at 12 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Again, we mentioned that number 11 ranked Illinois taking on Duke at noon on ESPN. I'm going to be checking that one out while I'm eating lunch and see our boy Q. And really, most of the games today are kind of just like, okay, let's throw in that game number 2. Not a cupcake, but a lot of these are kind of cupcake type games. Again,
Michigan,
Clemson,
Oklahoma's probably the best game today.
Yeah, Michigan, Oklahoma. I think it's the only game between 2 ranked teams. Georgia, 4th ranked Georgia's taking on App State. No, that's not App State. That's can't tell who that is. Hold on, Austin P. Out of Georgia. So we got those sitting there. I'm going to take a quick break. Before we lose Rod for the day, I wanted to get his opinion on Dallas and the Cowboys. I think they looked a lot better than people expected them to look on opening night, Thursday night. Get his opinion on what to do with Jalen Carter and or Dak Prescott, now that some of the video is out here on what happened on Spitgate at the beginning of the game. I don't know if I've ever seen a game where a guy got ejected before the first snap actually happened like while on the field. So like he kind of already served a 1-game suspension. So we'll get into that. We'll get into a whole lot more. We'll get into some NFL stuff, and we'll talk about the Cowboys, and we'll talk about last night's game, Kansas City and the Chargers. Is the window for Kansas City closing finally after, I don't know, 6 years, 7 years? We'll get into all that and more. It's the Desmond Johnson Show. Back in just a bit.
Greensboro's favorite hangout is calling your name. Natty Green's Downtown invites you to experience the heart and soul of downtown Greensboro's vibrant dining scene. Enjoy our mouth-watering dishes from juicy burgers to savory barbecue and everything in between. And what's a great meal without great brews? Natty Green's offers a hand-picked selection of craft beers that will perfectly complement your dining experience. So come on over to Natty Green's Downtown Greensboro. Find us at 345 South Elm Street or visit nattygreens.com online. Give us a call at 336-274-1373.
Hey family, this is Sabrina Wingo from Taste of the Triad, right here in Winston-Salem. When you walk through our doors, you're stepping into a place where Southern hospitality meets the best soul food in the Triad. We serve up a wide variety of options every single day in our cafeteria-style setting, from crispy fried chicken, incredible ribs, tender collard greens, to creamy mac and cheese, fresh vegetables, homemade desserts, and sweet cornbread just like Grandma used to make. Whether you're craving classic comfort food or exploring our daily specials, there is always something to make your taste buds dance. And now you can enjoy the taste of the Triad from the comfort of your home. We're on DoorDash. This means our hot home-style meals are just a few taps away. So come see us in person or order online and find out why we're called the best soul food in the Triad. Taste of the Triad, where you can have Sunday dinner anytime. Our address is 4320 Old Walkertown Road in Winston-Salem.
Welcome to Bobo's Deli and Grill in Winston-Salem, now featuring our brand new patio. Come enjoy the game day vibe or a relaxing meal outside on our newly renovated patio. At Bobo's, we serve more than just great food, we serve our neighbors. Quick, friendly service every time. And with football here, try our event catering. Whether it's game day, school events, or family celebrations, Bobo caters to any size group. Bobo's Deli and Grill, 3478 Robin Hood Road in Winston-Salem. Looking to buy or sell a home in the Triad area? Meet Nikki Rottweiler of Head Realty Group at eXp Realty, a local pro with over 6 years of experience serving Winston-Salem and beyond. Need a fast turnaround? Nikki is your go-to. Just ask her clients. She closes deals quickly without cutting corners. From Kernersville to Rural Hall, her expertise is in the Triad market shines. And she's more than your agent. Nikki is a proud supporter of local high school athletics, cheering on your local teams and backing your community all the way. Want service with speed, insight, and hometown heart? Call Nikki Rottweiler with Head Realty Group at eXp Realty today, 336-448-9309, and let her open the door to your next home.
Restaurants, entertainment, art, cool places to live. Whatever you're looking for, it's here. Downtown Winston-Salem is a proud sponsor of North Carolina high school sports, and we encourage you to shop and visit downtown. To discover more, visit www.downtownws.com or follow Downtown Winston-Salem on Facebook or Instagram.
This is Miles Bridges of the Charlotte Hornets, and you're listening to Tobacco Road Sports Radio, your home for the Charlotte Hornets and the Triad.
Welcome back into the Desmond Johnson Show, Saturday edition here on Tobacco Road Sports Radio. You can hear us every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on WWBG 1470 a.m. Ryan Smith and Hot Rod Funderburk in the house here with me. We just finished doing some college football talk. Want to skip over to the NFL. It says Rundown Friday, but it's really Saturday. Guys, I wanted to talk. Actually, you were bringing up this whole thing with Ryan Clark during the break. Ryan, what?
It's interesting. So there, I believe it was Peter Schrager on Get Up yesterday. Ryan Clark was talking about some of the players like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, amongst others, not being generational talents. And being an ex-player, he and played safety in the NFL. He was giving his points, and then Peter Schrager was bringing an alternative perspective. And Ryan Clark, says that's the non-player in you. And so people took that as him kind of belittling Peter Schrager as even though he didn't play in the NFL, he can still bring an alternative perspective, to a conversation. And so a lot of twists and turns in something like that.
Yeah, I see sometimes where football players sometimes might get upset when people are saying certain things about football, like, well, you didn't play, that kind of thing, where I played, but I played like Mighty Mike Pop Warner football back in like third grade. That's most of my experience with that there. So, yeah. And Ryan Clark has become one of the bigger personalities over at ESPN with some of the purge that they've had. He's kind of coming to things with that. I wanted to get into some NFL stuff. Rod, I wanted to kick this off with you. And Thursday, the Dallas Philly game, before it even begins, and we'll get to Dallas falling to Philly and the delay. I didn't watch the whole game because of the weather delay and everything else. But in the very beginning, if people don't know by now, what's being referred to as Spitgate, where it appears that Dak Prescott kind of spit towards Jalen Carter of the Eagles, who took offense to that and got in his face and spit on him. As a former football player, leading off with you, Rod, if an opposing player spits on you, what is your immediate thought, your immediate reaction to to this? What happens normally after that?
Yeah, I mean, so if a player was to spit on me on the field, I got to presume that we're both going to be ejected, period. Because spitting is just something that you don't do. I've seen people get killed for less.
Right.
And I mean that. Spitting is a whole nother level of disrespect. You spit on the ground. So if you spit on me, you're telling me I'm lower than the ground, and then you're spitting, and I mean, I'm just sorry, I'm gonna get ejected. And maybe Dak baited Jalen Carter into this incident. I don't know. However, Jalen Carter's got to be smarter than that. You want to know why, Des? Both teams were in their huddle, man. Jalen Carter was on the right side of the football, depending on where your vantage point was. Dak Prescott was on the left side of the ball, 5 yards away from the ball in his huddle, at least 5 yards away from the ball, because they were both on opposing sides. The defense was on the right, offense was on the left. So I saw Dak Prescott, and I'm not, leaning one way or the other just because I have been a Dallas Cowboys fan. But I see Dak Prescott spitting out of his huddle. Maybe he was eyeing Jalen Carter. I don't know, but I see him spitting out of his huddle. He doesn't want to spit on his lineman, so he spit through the huddle. Dak had been spitting the whole game. Not that it's a great thing, but that's what he does. That's one of the things that he does, and he spits on the ground. And it may have been at Jalen Carter. I don't know. But Dak didn't spit 5 to 6 yards, because I'm sure Jalen Carter was at least half a yard past the ball anyway.
They weren't like in each other's face in the first half.
Jalen Carter walks across the ball, all sides, onto the other side toward the huddle of the Cowboys. Now, Jalen Carter, you are completely asking for trouble when you do that. And of course, Dallas completely respected Jalen Carter, because normally if somebody walks across the ball into your huddle, up in your quarterback's face, your linemen are supposed to take over and push him or get him out of the way or something. So that told me that the linemen for Dallas were either scared or nervous of Jalen Carter. Therefore, there's no need for you to spit at anybody. And Jalen Carter, he's the quarterback. So if he did spit towards you, you're one of the best defensive linemen in the league. You got all game to tear his tail up. You got all game to blister him. You guys remember guys like Tom Brady, hey, Cam Newton. Sometimes we'll tell these guys, hey, man, good hit. You want to know why? Because quarterbacks really can't protect themselves. They've got these big linemen hunting them the whole game. So quarterbacks normally don't do anything to piss them off. You have a few quarterbacks who will talk trash and stuff like that. But for the most part, Patrick Mahomes, hey, good hit, guys. Why? Because they don't want to piss off these big linemen to come and hunt them, who can come over and just break their backs, literally, if they wanted to, man. But Jalen Carter, I'm sorry. Dak didn't spit at him. Dak didn't spit on him. That was a stupid, boneheaded move by Jalen Carter. And if he does that in the street, he could get killed.
Do you think he gets a suspension? Because I mean, it happened before the first snap, so he technically sat out a game already.
I think he'll get at least one game suspension.
Yeah,
I think
more.
he'll get at least one game.
And Philadelphia 1-0 on the season, starting that off with a 27-24 win over Dallas, who actually looked better than I expected. Dallas looked a lot better than I expected them to look after all the offseason talk about how Dallas can't tackle, they can't do this, they don't know how to sign players, and yada, yada, yada. And they actually looked pretty good. Now, again, it was opening night on Thursday night, and usually those games are kind of sloppy in terms of teams filling each other out. And I'm kind of expecting some sloppy play this Sunday in the NFL. We had a game in Brazil last night. Kansas City falls to the Los Angeles Chargers and head coach Jim Harbaugh 27-21. Justin Herbert had himself a day, 318 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 32 rushing yards, including a scramble on 3rd and 14 with about 2 minutes left. Scrambled for about 19 yards, slid for a first down to basically cap the game. I kind of expected the Chargers to win because a fun fact, Jim Harbaugh is like 6-0 or something in season openers as an NFL head coach or something to that effect. So he just doesn't lose opening games. 2, Jim Harbaugh rarely loses NFL games, period. Like once he's in there and gets his stuff going, those jumbo packages and all that stuff, if he's got a quarterback, he's going to win some games. Was this a telltale sign of the changing of the guard in the AFC West? Because no one's talking about the LA Chargers contending against Kansas City. We're just so used to Kansas City being on top of that division for so long. But I've always said, especially in the NFL, you have about a 4-year window. Once you become a title contender, you have about a 4-year window to actually complete that mission and win a championship before things like free agency and contracts and stuff start to break apart the core of whatever that team was. Kansas City's already kind of gone through this once, and they're trying to start it again. Is this the end of that window for Kansas City? They've kind of elongated it about 2 years, longer than it was supposed to be. Is this the end of that championship window for Kansas City? And do you think the Chargers can take the AFC West based off of what you saw last night, Ryan?
No, I don't think the Chargers can take the AFC West. However, I was very impressed with what I saw last night. Justin Herbert played a really good game. He's going to have to play that way throughout the season if they want to take the AFC West. So that is the good news there. This other team called the Denver Broncos is who I'm expecting to potentially take the AFC West. Now, I did predict Kansas City to win again in my official predictions on winning the division. And then I had Broncos as a wild card. But I would not be surprised if the Chargers play like that all season long, or let's say the majority of their games. Oh, yeah, they can absolutely take the division if they play like that. They're missing their left tackle, Rashawn Slater, who's out for the year with a torn patella tendon. You could not tell that last night based on the offensive protection. Joe Alt starting at left tackle, moving from right to left, 41 pressures, 0 sacks. 41 snaps, 0 pressures, 0 sacks allowed. Joe Alt protecting Justin Herbert's blind side. So, yes, I believe the Chargers no, I don't think they're going to take the AFC West ultimately, but I do think they're going to be a lot better than I thought based on last night's performance, but we also shouldn't overreact to Kansas City as well. They'll be fine. I don't think this is the end of the guard for them, but here's how I'll sum it up. I think they're going to have a worse record than last year, but their offense is going to be better once Xavier Worthy doesn't get taken out by Travis Kelce.
All right. So, Rod, your thought, is this the end for Kansas City, you think? Is this the year where they kind of fall back, or do you think that last night was just a blip for the Kansas City Chiefs?
No, I think, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And until someone takes that crown away from Kansas City, I still predict them to win the AFC West this year. I think Kansas City is still a solid team. I think they have a lot to prove.
Something's going on. Whenever you turn your video on, it changes your mic for some reason. I don't know what is going on. What were you doing before when the video was off?
Someone had called, and I was just moving it out. I was just saying, declining the call. So I don't know what that has something to do with it or what.
Something when your video, because your video was off for a minute ago and your sound was fine, and now your video is back on, but the sound went back to the way it was. So it's weird, especially on an iPhone. Like I can't figure out what's going on with his thing today, because he's in the same spot he normally is.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's something. You might have to move to a different room. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's something's going on with the sound. I don't know what it is. Try to go out and come back in one more time, because it seems like something when you're connecting on your phone for whatever reason. I can't figure out what it is, because you're clear now. Your video is back on, but your audio keeps going in and out. And I'm not really sure what's going on with it. And actually, I think he froze.
Yeah, I think he froze.
Yeah, I think he froze.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Chiefs are going to have a better offense, more explosive, assuming Xavier Worthy does come back after that shoulder injury that he suffered last night. He kind of got taken out by Travis Kelce, really, friendly fire. But I do think they're going to have a worse record, though, because I do think the Chargers, or even the Raiders and the Broncos have slowly improved over the last few years, and they're not as big of a gap as there once was.
Yeah. That division is going to be hard. We know all the quarterbacks over in the AFC, but the AFC West in particular, we haven't even talked about the entire. We've just been talking about kind of the top of it, but yeah, that division looks like it's going to be pretty rough. I want to get over to Panthers and Jaguars real quick while I had both of you guys on. I've gone through the thing where. You probably heard it by now. Jennifer Lopez getting divorced in the same year. Ohio State winning a national championship. Us opening at Jacksonville leads to the Panthers going to the Super Bowl. So we're getting on that train. We're getting on that train right now for the Panthers to get there. What do you think are going to be the keys to the game on Sunday for Panthers versus Jaguars in terms of the Panthers opening up the season with a victory? We haven't done it since I think 2021. When Sam Darnold was the starting quarterback. And I vaguely remember bragging to folks on this very radio show that Sam Darnold reminded me of Troy Aikman during that 3-0 stretch for Carolina. That was really the last time we felt good and we're above water. What does Carolina need to do from what you saw preseason and everything they've done in the offseason? What do you think are the main things they need to do to win in Jacksonville on Sunday?
3 things. Number 1, stop the run. That is number 1. Derek Brown is going to be back better than ever. Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne. Trevor's on our team. So stop the run is my key number 1, because I think the trenches are ultimately what's going to win this game. On the other side of the ball for offense, number 2 is protect Bryce Young. Give Bryce Young time. We're going to be without Ike Ekwonu, it sounds like, but Josh Hines Allen is a very underrated player. So got to protect Bryce, especially his blind side, without Ike Ekwonu being there. That's key. Number 2 is protect Bryce. And then number 3 is close the game out. If we can take the lead early, get the Jags on their back foot, and have an opportunity down the stretch to put some key, just like a 7-8 minute drive in the fourth quarter, assuming the Panthers have the lead, can they close the game out and come away with a victory? They weren't able to do that last year in a lot of games simply because they either didn't have the lead, or if they did, they would fumble or something would happen, and then the other team would go down and win the game. So on a short field. So those are my 3 keys to victory. I will say, Desmond, I'm talking with Inside the Vault earlier up later today with Mike DeRocco of Jags of ESPN. It's funny. He said he's talked to some Panther fans. He's talked to some Jaguars fans. Both fan bases assume the other team still sucks and they think it's going to be an easy victory. So clearly it's not the same as 2023, Bryce's rookie year. Both teams are very different from that time span. So it should be interesting in Jacksonville. I think this is going to be an either way game. I would not be surprised if Jacksonville wins. I would not be surprised if Carolina wins. I think this is going to be a very close game. In fact, some people think it might be one of the higher scoring games of week 1 because both defenses are Rod,
let's see if we got his audio back at least. Rod, your thoughts on Panthers Jaguars Sunday?
I don't think I'm back yet, Des. I don't think my audio's back. But anyway.
No, we got your audio. We got your audio. Just the video's not out. So we're good with the audio.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. What do you think on Panthers Jaguars?
Man, that's hard to say. Jaguars have a lot to prove this year, man. I'd love to see the Panthers, take that with Bryce being where he is with the Carolina Panthers. But I tell you what, the Jaguars, they have Travis Hunter down there now. I think they're going to have some packages for him just for the Carolina Panthers. I think they're going to start him on offense and then have some packages for him on defense, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the game plan for him, if I'm not mistaken. Man, that game could go either way for me. But if I had to make a prediction, man, I'd say the Panthers, they're playing at home. So the Panthers,
it's in Jacksonville.
Oh, it's in Jacksonville? I thought it was in Panther Stadium. Okay.
No, it's down in Jacksonville. Yeah.
So if it's in Jacksonville, I don't know. It's going to be a tough one for the Panthers, man. Then my change goes toward Jacksonville. Then I think Jacksonville maybe wins that one 20-17. But I don't know, man. I hate to be like that.
The
Oh,
Panthers seem to
God.
perform well in Jacksonville for whatever reason. So I mean,
Whenever
at
they
least,
go down
like you
there,
said,
yeah.
Desmond, we open against
We
Jacksonville.
open against Jacksonville. Anytime we open against Jacksonville and win and all the other stuff happens, we go to the Super Bowl. So, and I always look at it like this: 2003 and 2015, people are gonna be like, "You're talking crazy on Saturday morning." They weren't expected to go to the Super Bowl the 2 years they went to the Super Bowl. It just kind of came out the blue. So it's not odd for us to be like, yeah, they could do it this year. Now it is odd for us to be touting it week 1 before they even play, because like usually when it goes down, it's like week 5 or 6 where the Panther fans are like, hey, we got a pretty good, we're 6-0. Like all of a sudden, like, hey, we got a pretty good team. I'm not saying any of that's going to happen, but I will say I do think that the Panthers will be more of an enjoyable watch this year as opposed to
I would agree with that.
the previous 3 or 4 years. You know, it's funny. I was watching TV last night after we got back from doing East Forsyth Grimsley, and a commercial came on. Can't remember who it was for, but it was Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley in a commercial for something like Peanuts or something. I can't remember what it was. And they're wearing like janitor outfits or something. And I was sitting there and I turned to my wife and I was like, hey, that's Christian McCaffrey. He used to be a Carolina Panther. And she was like, why isn't he anymore? And I had to sit there and go, why isn't Christian McCaffrey a Carolina Panther? Like, if you go back into when we traded him, when we were going in and out of coaches and all this other stuff, why did they trade Christian McCaffrey?
I'll tell you why.
But they never tanked. If you're going to say they're going to try to tank and that kind of stuff, they kind of turned the ship like a week in. Like as soon as they traded him, they're like, you know what, we can do this thing. And it was like, why'd you give away Christian McCaffrey for peanuts? Like,
I'll tell you why. They gave up a lot. 49ers actually gave up a lot for a off-injured running back at the time, being Christian McCaffrey, because he was obviously very talented. But I think the Panthers traded him simply when it came down to was he played in less games and he was obviously on the shelf injured-wise. And when he was playing, the Panthers weren't winning. It wasn't like they were winning with him. At the end of the day, we were using him way too much as the focal point of our offense, which again, I get it. If you have a Ferrari, you want to use the Ferrari, you want to take it out for a spin, but you can't ultimately depend on that every single time. And I think you see in San Francisco, he hasn't been used as the same weapon every single time. They know how to Kyle Shanahan knows how to use him in different formations and get him in open space. And the Panthers were kind of doing the same thing with him almost every time. They didn't know how to use him and spread him out enough to make his body not break down on him. And I think that's ultimately why they ended up trading him, because they weren't winning with him when he was on the field. And when he wasn't on the field, obviously, he was always injured. And so that kind of went into a little bit more. Obviously, I didn't like the trade, obviously, at the time. I'm over it now, obviously. But
I'm just trying to picture this Carolina team with McCaffrey in the backfield. Like it's different. It's just different.
It's different, yeah.
So, before we get out of here, what's the game you're looking forward to the most NFL between Sunday and Monday night's matchup? I already see it. Baltimore at Buffalo, 8:20 p.m. on NBC and Peacock. I think me and Jonathan Stewart picked Baltimore and Buffalo to be our AFC Championship game.
I did too.
We ended the Kansas City reign of terror and had it there. Who needs it more? Who needs to win the Super Bowl more this year, Baltimore or Buffalo? Because they both have their own reasons why they should win it. Baltimore, you got Lamar Jackson, who I don't even think is 30 years old yet. He's won the MVP twice, could have won it last year, have not been able to get over that hump of getting to the Super Bowl. And then you have Buffalo, where their Achilles heel seems to be Kansas City, where Kansas City keeps them from getting to the Super Bowl. And it's the same thing with Buffalo. I feel like there's a 4-year window where they're at the end of their 4-year window now in terms of where they are. Rod, who do you think needs to get to the Super Bowl more to prove that they are an elite team, Baltimore or Buffalo?
I think Baltimore does. And the reason that I say that is, number one, all of the reasons that you just mentioned concerning Lamar Jackson. He's won the MVP multiple times. You know, all of the MVP multiple winners have a Super Bowl title. And also, Lamar Jackson has the better team around him, to be quite honest with you. He is more complete. Derrick Henry at the running back. His receivers are more complete. They've been with each other longer. They have that chemistry. Baltimore is just a better team. And I even think in coaching with Harbaugh, he's just a better coach. Baltimore somehow has to get past the hump. And with Buffalo, you know, Josh Allen has not been the one to keep Buffalo from not getting to the Super Bowl. It's been his supporting cast that's been the weak link. If you look at all the losses that they have had to the Chiefs, it hasn't been Josh Allen who's the one who sunk when the moment was the highest. He's always rose to the occasion. Even last year on that last play, Josh Allen was scrambling, and when he threw the pass, it hit his receiver right in the chest. He just didn't pull it in.
Oh,
So,
that's right. I forgot about
you
that.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, when we've seen, and on the other side of that, we've seen Lamar Jackson fumble the ball. We've seen Lamar Jackson throw interceptions at big moments in the playoffs. It has been him who has sunk to the occasion, man, and he has the 2 MVPs. So, in that alone, that's my reason, and I think it has to be Baltimore.
And then on the NFC side, I mean, of course, you got Philly, and we'll kind of see who emerges after Sunday from some of these matchups here. Tampa Bay at Atlanta, it's 1:00 on Fox. Some of these interesting matchups: Cincinnati at Cleveland. That'll be interesting there. That's a 1:00.
I am looking forward to seeing Pittsburgh at the Jets.
Pittsburgh at the New York Jets. You got Aaron Rodgers taking on his old team. That's in New York. That's a 1:00 kickoff on CBS. I'd imagine that's probably the CBS game at 1:00. I would think.
I'm interested to see Tampa and Atlanta. I know there are rivals for the Panthers, but I mean that's always a good game every year. Michael Penix, can he continue his 3-game showing into this season, kind of like Bryce Young in a way? I actually disagree with Rod. I'll make this really quick because I know we have to go. I think Buffalo needs to win it more simply because, like what you were saying at the very beginning, Desmond, I think Buffalo's window is shorter. Josh Allen is starting to get nicked up slowly but surely, kind of like that Cam mentality of running and getting those injuries are adding up, those bumps and bruises. Their roster is not as good as Baltimore's. So I think Buffalo ultimately needs to win the Super Bowl more because I don't think their window is going to be as long as Baltimore's with Lamar.
Who's the and this actually proves my point here. Tennessee at Denver, 4:05 p.m. on Fox. Cam Ward, was that the number one pick?
Yes.
He might be the most unpraised. That's not the word I'm looking for. The most underhyped number one overall pick, maybe in NFL history. Like I haven't heard anything about him, and he's about to take over Tennessee and the Titans as they take on a Denver team. A lot of people have picked, including Ryan, have picked to be a factor in the AFC West this year. Detroit at Green Bay, 4:25 p.m. on CBS. That sounds like a good one now, especially. Looks like we're going to see Michael Parsons on Sunday. That it's crazy how well a back can heal quickly once you get a bag of money. A change in scenery. We didn't get a chance to talk about Micah at all, Rod. That whole situation, we'll get out here on that. Michael Parsons is now a Green Bay Packer. He's no longer a Dallas Cowboy. I've had some time to think about this. I don't think Jerry Jones is as crazy as people were making him out to be in terms of what he was saying, in terms of what they need to do. Michael Parsons, yes, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Not so great in run defense. And the Cowboys' run defense has been horrific the past 3 years. Like the past couple times they've been in the playoffs, they've been shredded by Green Bay and San Francisco in the run game. If you don't feel like you can things have started to come out too where people are saying maybe Michael Parsons wasn't as well liked in the locker room. His the weekly podcast he does in season might have been rubbing some players the wrong way. And I wanted to ask your opinion on this, Rod, because the one thing I did notice when all this was going on before the trade happened, none of the Cowboy players really came out in favor of Michael Parsons publicly. Like, yeah, they need to give him his money. We need him back here. We need him. Not like when Emmett was out in 92. And at the time, Emmett didn't have a deal. Like he didn't have anywhere to go. He didn't have a deal to play anywhere. So him and Jerry had to hammer this out. Micah was still technically contractually with the Cowboys for the next 3 years, potentially. Your thoughts on this, and is the silence from the Cowboy players saying what needed to be said in terms of Micah in that locker room, and did they subtract him and maybe become a better football team, as crazy as that sounds?
No, I don't think their silence was, too deafening. And the reason I say that is they didn't really come out and say pay Dak. They didn't come out and say pay CeeDee Lamb. They didn't say that to any of those two guys. Dak did come out and say, hey, man, because of the way deals have been done, the way CD and I got our money, I expect this to get done. Dak did come out and say that. Dak just felt it was a process or a rite of passage that Jerry Jones takes his players through. But no, Jerry Jones is an idiot for getting rid of Michael Parsons. I still feel that way. Yes, you need to bolster your run defense. But Michael Parsons being on that team on Thursday night would have kept Jalen Carter from running around the way that he ran around and scrambled and scored those touchdowns. If you see the highlights that were being played when this whole deal was going on between Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons, you saw Parsons running around, getting blocked by Philly, and then spinning and catching Jalen Hurts on about 3 different occasions. You saw him getting tackled by Michael Parsons. And he did exactly what he did, or Jalen Hurts did exactly what he did in those videos, except there was no Michael Parsons there to stop him and tackle him. And he wound up scrambling for 2 rushing touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, the run defense does need to get better, but I'm sorry, Michael Parsons is an edge rusher. Draft some guys. Jerry Jones has been good in the draft. Draft some guys who can come in and play some defense in the middle. He's good at scouting talent and getting talent in there. The problem is he treats talent like crap when they get in there finally. So no, I don't think that Micah Parsons was a big issue in the locker room, and I was not surprised on what happened on Thursday, just for the simple fact that you paid Dak 60, you paid Lamb over 33 mil. What I was surprised about is that Lamb, getting paid as much as he did, dropped those 4 passes that cost Dallas the game. Your big money guys have got to make big money plays when it's time. Period. So I was surprised about that. But if you have Micah Parsons, then Dallas is built correctly. They're built to score points, put the other team in a bad position where they have to pass the ball to catch up. That's where Micah Parsons makes his money. That's how Dallas is built. Last year, Dak Prescott was out, so they couldn't put the plan in progress to do it that way. So, I mean, I wasn't surprised, Dez. I really wasn't.
I mean, and the Cowboys won 7 games last year, basically without Dak. So, and Dak actually looked good Thursday.
He looks really good.
He was moving around and invading the rush and stuff. Like, if Dak's going to play like that, like he was 2 years ago when he finished second in MVP voting, if they're going to do that, Dallas is going to be better than expected. I know people were trying to push the Giants ahead of him, and I know they want to push the Commanders up because of their run last year. I'm waiting to see if the Commanders was a flash in the pan last year, that they just caught lightning in a bottle, because they won a lot of like really tight, close games. We got to go ahead and get out of here. I will programming note later on tonight on the Aggie Sports Network here on Tobacco Road Sports Radio, 6:30 p.m. pregame show with Donald Ware and Al Swan, followed by North Carolina A&T taking on UCF, University of Central Florida. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff live here on Tobacco Road Sports Radio and on WKEW 103.5 FM in Greensboro on the Truth Network. We're going to go ahead and get out of here for today, and we will see you with David Glenn with me live Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Reviewing the best of the week here on the Desmond Johnson Show.